So I think we need to start with some examples. I'm just going to write down the formula for the instantaneous rate of change just so it's here in front of us. So it's position with respect to time so it's the limit as h approaches 0 of f of t plus h minus f of t all over h. So we're going to be using that to find the average rate of change of the function over a time interval, starting with number 2. So they give us 2 different intervals that we're going to do it over. So first of all, the formula or the function we're using is f of x is equal to the square root of 4x plus 1. And first we're going to do it for the interval 0 to 2, and then we're going to do it for the interval of 10 to 12. Okay, and you may sit here and think they're 2 apart in both cases. The answer is going to be the same. That might occasionally be true, but it will not always be true. More often than not, they will be different. So in this case, we are actually just literally plugging in the numbers into the function and dividing it by, let me see, did I actually give y'all that? I mean, seeing if I gave y'all that formula. The average rate of change formula. F of point number 2 minus f of point 1 all over point 2 minus point 1. Y'all had that? Should have been one of the first things that you got, I think.
Yes.
Okay, this is what we're using first. I forgot these problems are asking for average rate of change. When we get to the instantaneous ones, then we'll be using this other formula. I misread the instructions initially. So with these ones, we're literally just plugging in the points. So you'll have the square root of 4 times 2 plus 1 minus the square root of 4 times 0 plus 1, all divided by 2 minus 0. So square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 1 is just 1. So 3 minus 1 over 2 minus 0, which ends up giving you 2 over 2, which is just 1. And then we would do the same for b. The square root of 4 times 12 plus 1 minus the square root of 4 times 10 plus 1, all over 12 minus 10. So 4 times 12 is 48 plus 1 is 49. Square root of 49 is what? 7 minus square root of 41.
Shut up, man.
That's not something we know, so we're just going to leave it. All divided by 2. So that's that one. Huh? Something like that. Alright, so we're going to do a trig one. I will lay out unit circles in case y'all need them, want them. For when you're solving these. If you need a picture of one, because these need to stay in my classroom, do y'all want one of these right now?
Yes.
Okay, just make sure I get them back. I'll just stack them in the yellow boxes, y'all, so you can just stack them in there when we're done with them. You won't need them like a ton, But if you do need to grab one for like a problem or something, you can. At this point, y'all have had to do the unit circle enough that I'm not going to make you memorize it again. You may just know some of these values off the top of your head, but that way you have it just in case. All right, so number 6, f of x is equal to 2 plus the cosine of x. And then we've got a being 0 to pi and b being negative pi to pi. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to plug it in. 2 plus the cosine of pi minus, and remember it's minus the whole function, so you may want to use parentheses with one like this. 2 plus the cosine of 0, all divided by pi minus 0. So cosine of pi is what?
1.
Negative 1. What?
I started to say -1 and then I stopped myself.
Okay, so the minus 2 and then cosine of 0.
That's 1.
That's 1, but we have to remember we have this negative sign, so minus 1 all over pi. 2's cancel, so I'm left with negative 2 over pi.
I see trying to subtract that's the thing. It's over pi symbol. Get some kind of shape.
All right, so cosine of negative pi. Still negative 1, because all you're doing is you're taking the unit circle and you're going backwards for the negative pi. So still negative 1 minus 2 cosine of pi. Negative 1, I've got a negative up here, so it's going to be plus 1 all over 2 pi. 2's cancel. You end up with 0 over 2 pi, which is just 0. Since y'all said you don't have lunch, are you planning on leaving early?
I don't know. I might starve to death. I might leave early. I don't know. Maybe yeah, I'll probably leave early.
Okay.
Maybe somewhere.
All right, next one. Number 10. So these problems say to, at the indicated point, find the slope of the curve, the equation of the tangent line, an equation of the normal, and then draw a graph of the curve. I'm not worried about the draw the graph of the curve part. Okay? So y is equal to x squared minus 4x at x is equal to 1. So now, to do this, we need this formula here. Okay? T is going to be our value of 1 in this case. Okay, so we have the limit as h approaches 0. Now, anywhere you see an x, it's going to be 1 plus h for the first part going in. So it's going to be 1 plus h, and that whole piece is squared, minus 4 times, we still need to use the 1 plus h, and then minus, and I like to go ahead and bracket off the last part just so it doesn't get lost with that negative sign. Now I'm just plugging in the one value. Okay, so the f of t, so just 1. So 1 minus 4 times 1. All divided by h. Okay? Now, as the equation stands, I cannot leave it as it is, okay, because that would mean that 0 is on the bottom. Can't have that, so I've got to do some canceling to get some stuff by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is factor. What does that factor into?
1 plus 2, 8 plus h squared.
And then keep going.
Minus 4 minus 4h minus 1.
Well, and you can go ahead and say this is negative 3 here.
Plus 3.
How did you get the 4 times 1, like, where the negative 3 thing is?
Right here.
Yeah. Like you get the
Um,
minus. Where does
So f of t. So anywhere I see an x now, I'm putting a 1.
right.
Because that was the value I was given. This is really t in the initial, that formula that you were given. They use t in the formula, but then on most of the problems they're using x.
So whenever it says at x equals whatever, it's just going to be minus, and then.
So the formula is f of t plus h. So that's how we got the first part. This 1 plus h squared minus 4 times 1 plus h. That took care of the t plus h part out of the formula. And then it's minus, and then it's f of t. So anywhere you see an x, you're putting a 1. Because in the formula that you were given, okay, which came out of the book, they use t as the variable. But in most of the problems, they're going to actually use x. It's weird, I know. But so anywhere you see a variable, you're putting a 1 now.
But then we already took care of the x squared.
You only did the first part.
I'm stupid. I didn't realize you put that back in there twice. Okay. I get it. Ish.
So then we've got 1 plus 3 is 4 minus 4. So all the numbers themselves go away. So that leaves you with, let's see, negative 2h plus h squared all over h. I can take an h out of all the pieces. So h times negative 2 plus h all over h. H's cancel, leaving you with negative 2 plus h.
Second.
Okay, now we're not done. That wasn't even technically, yeah. That was just getting us set up.
Right, and so then we add, then we plug in the 1 for the t and the 0 for the.
Not yet. So the first thing it wants now is
Oh, yes.
it wants the slope.
Which
So to find the
negative 2.
slope, we're evaluating this when h is approaching 0. So the limit as h approaches 0 of our now simplified to negative 2 plus h is equal to, well, as h goes to 0, what am I left with?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So my slope is negative 2. All right, so now I want an equation of a tangent line for this. Okay, I have a slope, so I need to find the point, okay, to give me point slope form, which will allow me to find my tangent line. So I know I've got a slope of negative 2. I know that x equals 1, so I need to find the y point when x is 1. So I'm going to do f of 1, okay, which is going to give me y at x is equal to 1. So when I plug in 1, so you get y is equal to 1 squared minus 4 times 1. We get what?
Negative 3.
Negative 3.
Where did you get that 4 from? Oh, that's the equation. Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
from the
Okay.
equation.
Okay, sorry.
So my point now is 1, negative 3, and my slope is negative 2. So I'm going to use the point slope form. Y minus a negative 3 is going to be plus 3 is equal to m negative 2 times x minus 1. So then y is equal to negative 2x plus 2 minus 3. So y is equal to negative 2x minus 1. So this is my tangent line. Okay, this will be stuff that you need to be able to do like all year, and I can guarantee will be on your AP test. Okay, being able to write an equation of a tangent line is 100% going to be on there. And then a normal line is going to be on there as well. I don't remember if I would have talked about it in the video. I think I did. How would you describe a normal line in relation to the tangent line?
Isn't it like the opposite slope?
So what does that mean about the lines then?
They're perpendicular.
Yeah, so it's going to be the opposite inverse. So now I've already found my point and I had my slope here. So the next part wants a normal line. So what would the slope of my normal line be then?
1/2.
Okay, and it's positive. Okay, still have the point 1, negative 3. Okay, I can reuse it, obviously. So then I'm going to find my equation of my line. So y minus a negative, so plus 3 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 1. Y is equal to 1/2 x minus 1/2 minus, I'm going to go ahead and make this 3 be over 2, so 6 over 2. Okay, just so that adding it's easier. So y is equal to 1/2 x minus 7/2. And so this is my normal
How
line.
did we find the slope?
So the normal line slope is normal
Yeah.
line is perpendicular to the tangent.
How did we find the tangent slope? Oh, we
Well, we did this. We used that formula, the
Okay.
instantaneous.
We're gonna have to do this like 14,000 more times.
Yeah, this is stuff that I can guarantee you're gonna see, like 100%. So, anyways, but once you simplify that down, then you get your slope, and then you can use that slope. That slope will always give you the slope of the tangent line. Then you have to figure out the perpendicular slope to get your normal line. Okay, and the normal thing is going to reappear in physics. Okay, a lot of times we will have hit the normal in physics before we hit this in calculus. And so it'll kind of make a little bit more sense. But we'll talk about like the normal also there. So you'll hear it again. Maybe this chapter, it might be next chapter. So, well, yeah, y'all have already gone through most of the chapter. I'm just re-going over it. So, all right. We're gonna do another one of those, number 12. But what I want is I want us to go step by step with this one. I want you guys to try to find the slope first by yourself, and then we'll go over it. Okay, I know I've only done one so far, but it's plugging in, and I want to see how y'all do with it, and then we'll go over it. Okay, because the book doesn't give a lot of problems of each type, so I'm trying to kind of work it in as best as possible. So y is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 1.
So this is the exact same thing as last time? Or-
Yep, at x is equal to 0. So you're going to do what I did in red is what I want you to try. Okay, so use the formula. Okay, the limit as h approaches 0. Okay, use that, and your x value is 0 this time. Okay, simplify it down and find the slope, and then we'll go over it in just a second. Melcher, did you decide when you're taking your test?
Huh?
Did you decide when you're taking your test?
Yeah, I was supposed to today.
You could do it during stats if you want.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna ask what you're doing in stats and physics.
I mean, stats, I'm just going over the worksheet, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, I don't care.
I take their stats.
Okay.
I don't take my physics test.
Are you doing them both today?
No.
Okay.
I'll take physics tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, you're telling me. The entire quarter this week, straight.
I get it. I understand it now.
were you wanting to leave?
Huh?
How early were you wanting to leave?
It doesn't matter, I'm just going to somewhere.
Okay.
Where are we going?
If you
Oh,
need
that's
to like
fine.
finish eating when you come back, you can. Because it's after, yeah. When we're done with this problem, I mean, we're done, so.
Oh, cool. I just see it. Why is it -1? Why isn't it 0? But it's f of t. Isn't
Yeah,
f of
but t is 0. So you plug in 0 in each of these.
Yeah.
Those are 0, you're
But
left with a
isn't-
negative
isn't-
1.
Yeah, isn't that, so that's the -1?
Yeah, because when I plug in, so really what's going on right here is 0 squared minus 3 times 0 minus 1. I just didn't write the 0 terms.
So that right there is f of t. F of t is -1.
Yes, this is the f of t part.
So when we then plug f of t and find y, we would put -1 in, not,
No. When you find y,
we're still putting 0.
you have 0 and then f of 0.
Okay.
Because it's y at that point x. So did y'all find a slope?
Yeah, I got -3.
-3, okay.
No, I was lost. I still don't understand what's going on. So we take that whole equation.
This one.
Oh, cause that equation is f. And
This
then-
equation is the out of the formula.
Yes, but I'm saying the y equals all that. The y equals the polynomial.
This?
Yes.
Yes, this was
That's
the
the f.
function that, yes.
And that's why we plug it into.
Yeah, we plugged in the t plus h, and then we plugged in just t. Alright, so did we get this? We have questions about it. Once you find the slope, you're kind of, once you find your slope and then you plug back in to get the point, like, you should be pretty good. I mean, the calculus part really is up through right here, this red stuff. And then when I switch to blue, that should be more of a review. I mean, I know, yes, finding the point of y, usually you're given the point. But it just, wherever x is equal to that, what is y equal to at that time is all your point is.
I think y equals -1.
So when I plug in 0,
So that's
For x.
y. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I get it now.
yeah. So that gives you your point, and then it's just knowing your two slopes.
Yeah, slope is just
Your tangent slope is always what you found using the limit.
okay.
And then your normal is perpendicular to your tangent.
So to find the slope, we solve for h.
You take the limit as h goes to 0. So essentially,
And then we solve for it. Right?
yeah, and most of the time it will be something super simple like this where you can just kind of see right away. It doesn't usually have anything crazy. Usually everything but the constant term's gonna go away. Like, even if you end up with like h squared and whatever else, but pretty much it's always gonna be like h minus 3, h plus 2, something like that. So, and then you just make h 0, and whatever's left over is your slope. Cool. Any questions? All right, we wouldn't have time to do another problem, so we'll do the last couple tomorrow. And then I think I have some review, like a review thing that kind of goes with this section pretty well that we'll use Friday. And then we'll probably do a quiz like Monday.
Wait, it's not positive?
No. Because when h is 0, you're left with
Oh,
negative
okay.
3.